Hey guys, it's Ty the dog guy here, and in Utah, it is beautiful. There's the sky. It is the beginning of, well, not the beginning of spring. Beginning of spring was a couple months ago. We're in May right now, and so we're dead into spring, but it hasn't felt like it yet. We've had cold and rain and stuff like that. But with this beautiful weather, we've been getting out in the yard more. Got Chocolate Chip here, chewing, playing around, chasing balls. Chip, what's that? Go get it. Chasing balls, having fun. And it made me realize the backyard is a place that a lot of folks want to be their dog's domain. And so let me kind of mention a few things here, because one thing I've noticed is over the years, I might get 2 clients a year, and we get hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. Out of all that, maybe 1, maybe 2 tops, are dogs that live in the backyard. And the reality is, if your dog lives in the backyard, I'm not saying that you're a bad dog owner, but I am saying that there are very few dog owners that are good dog owners that leave the dog in the backyard the whole time. Now, I've heard, what people say to where they're like, well, I've got this great backyard, and I've got a good backyard here. It's a nice place. But I hear people say, I've got this great backyard. I want the dog to spend time there. But if you look at it from the dog's perspective, it's pretty lonely back here if that's all they're doing. If they're just hanging out in the backyard all day, every day, it becomes almost impossible to have a dog that's not chewing up your stuff, not digging. Because even the best dog owners, the outside dog is going to be alone 20 hours a day. How many dog owners are in their yard more than 4 hours a day? Very few. And so even the best dog owners, that dog's going to be spending a lot of time alone. And so what a lot of people do is they get another dog, and of course that's going to be a problem, because now they've got double the destruction, double the problems. And so this isn't a message for folks to say don't have a dog in the backyard as a backyard dog. Probably most folks that are listening to this don't have a backyard dog. Almost everyone that I talk to these days has an indoor dog. But what I did want to say is don't use the backyard as a babysitter. You're going to more than likely get in trouble. Because here's what happens. We raise our dogs indoors, like most people. And so much of dog training is repetition, right? So let's say you want to teach the dog to sit. You need a lot of repetitions. You got to sit over and over and over and over before the dog's really good at it, right? Or to come when called, or to stay when told, or whatever. Now, in the house, the dog gets lots of repetitions if we're doing things right, with not chewing up your couch, with not peeing on the floor, with not digging at your carpet. Because what happens is day in, day out, we're supervising the dog, we're watching the dog, and the dog does something wrong, we tell him about it. The dog does something right, we tell him about it. And so soon the dog realizes, because there's so much repetition happening in there, inside the house, what's appropriate and what's not. Now, how often are you in your backyard? If you're like me, you come out here and you barbecue sometimes. There's the grill over there. If you're like me, you come out and you hang out while the kids are playing. If you're like me, you're out here from time to time. But that does not give us the repetition. And so what I mean by that is usually most clients within about a year and a half of raising their puppy, they can kind of leave the dog indoors while they're gone for an hour or two. Because up until that point, there's been so much repetition on not peeing on the floor, not chewing up stuff and stuff like that. Now it doesn't even make sense to do it. But that same person might want to leave the dog outside for a couple hours, but the repetition just hasn't been there. Now, granted, there's less the dog can do wrong. If the dog goes to the bathroom, we're okay. If the dog, chews up a stick, not a big deal. But if the dog chews up your sprinkler lines, chews up your barbecue cover, if the dog chews up your spa cover, these are things I hear about all the time. It's almost understandable. To a degree, it's understandable, because how much repetition did the dog get outside with you, teaching the dog how to interact with your spa cover? The dog got lots of repetition on how to not pee in the house, but got very little repetition on how to not chew up your spa cover. And so that's where a lot of folks say, well, I've got this great backyard, I'm just going to use it. More often than not, if you want to leave the dog in the backyard, it's going to take you even longer than it would if you wanted to leave your dog alone in the house. And so you got to get that repetition in. So in any case, with spring and summer around the corner, and you've got that great backyard, think twice about exactly how you want to use it. There's ways that it's appropriate to use and ways that it's not. And if it does need to be used, for a few hours at a time, build your dog up to that. Don't just start throwing your dog in the backyard for hours and think that he's going to be okay. And when he starts chewing stuff up, think, oh, we can just fix that. There's things you can do to fix it, but better than that is introducing your dog slowly to having the freedom alone in the backyard. Thanks for listening.